While global attention remains fixed on the Gaza ceasefire, another development is quietly reshaping the political landscape of the West Bank. The Israeli Security Cabinet has authorized a series of administrative measures, moves that critics argue amount to incremental annexation. From London to Canberra, reactions have been swift. The core question now is whether these legal shifts represent routine governance adjustments or a structural redefinition of sovereignty. At the center of the controversy is the transfer of certain governing authorities in Hebron, in Bethlehem, to direct Israeli civil administration structures. These changes involve regulatory oversight, planning authority, and civil coordination mechanisms. Supporters describe the move as administrative streamlining. Critics describe it as de facto annexation through bureaucratic means. Unlike formal annexation, which would require explicit declaration, administrative transfers operate within legal gray zones. They alter governance realities without redrawing maps. Middle East governance briefings, territorial change in modern geopolitics, increasingly occurs through incremental legal frameworks rather than dramatic political announcements. And incremental shifts can have permanent consequences. Regional powers have responded with caution and warning. Egypt, Jordan, and Turkey have each expressed concern that these measures risk inflaming tensions. For Jordan, custodianship arrangements in Jerusalem and broader West Bank stability are deeply tied to national security. For Egypt, border security and ceasefire sustainability in Gaza are interconnected with West Bank dynamics. Turkey has framed the move as undermining diplomatic pathways. Their shared concern that administrative consolidation today could foreclose the possibility of a negotiated two-state solution tomorrow. If governance realities harden before political negotiations resume, diplomatic leverage narrows. And once leverage narrows, solutions become increasingly symbolic rather than structural. The two-state framework has long served as the diplomatic baseline for resolving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, but its viability depends on territorial contiguity, governance autonomy, and internationally recognized negotiation frameworks. Administrative shifts that centralize authority complicate that architecture. They do not end negotiations outright, but they reshape the starting point. Regional conflict analysis, the durability of peace frameworks often depends less on public declarations and more on cumulative ground realities. If those realities change faster than diplomacy adapts, the gap widens. The United States now faces a delicate balancing act. The Trump administration has publicly opposed formal annexation. Yet these new administrative measures challenge that stance indirectly. Because while no formal annexation has been declared, the operational effect of expanded civil control shifts facts on the ground. Washington must reconcile two priorities: maintaining strategic alignment with Israel and preserving credibility in supporting negotiated outcomes. If U.S. opposition to annexation appears rhetorical rather than operational, regional actors may reassess American diplomatic leverage, and credibility, once questioned, influences every subsequent negotiation. Beyond the immediate region, the implications are global. European governments must decide whether to escalate diplomatic pressure or prioritize regional stability. Multilateral institutions face renewed debate over enforcement mechanisms, and global observers assess whether territorial norms are being incrementally reinterpreted. In a world already confronting contested borders elsewhere, precedent matters. If administrative governance becomes a pathway to territorial consolidation, similar tactics could emerge in other regions. Another layer to this flashpoint is legal precedent. International law distinguishes between occupation and annexation, but prolonged administrative integration can blur that line. If regulatory, planning, and civil authorities are consolidated over time, the distinction becomes harder to defend diplomatically. For European capitals and multilateral institutions, the concern is not only the West Bank, but the precedent such administrative strategies might establish globally. Territorial norms, once softened, rarely harden again, and in geopolitics, precedent travels faster than policy. The West Bank flashpoint is not defined by a single dramatic announcement. It is defined by administrative momentum. Whether this becomes annexation in practice or remains reversible depends on diplomatic engagement in the months ahead. Egypt, Jordan, and Turkey seek de-escalation. Washington seeks balance. Israel asserts governance continuity, and Palestinians face shifting ground realities. The outcome will shape not only regional politics, but the long-term credibility of negotiated conflict resolution. For deeper geopolitical analysis on Middle East governance, territorial diplomacy, and regional security, visit nexusinsight.org. Explore the Nexus Insight blog for expert insights, in-depth research, and contextual analysis on the forces shaping the global economy and international relations. Subscribe.